So much for my charaka practice, my wandering, tudong. So far I've not got very far, have I? But I'm in a very good, if not a little noisy place just at the moment. Of course, whilst this rains, monsoon continues most of the evening and very heavily, it's best to stay put, as I'm doing. And this is the nature of uncertainty. We make the use of the requisites of robes, shelter, food, medicine when it's provided, and then extend upon that by going on our wandering when the time is appropriate. So that will come soon. But in the meantime, as you can see, I'm back in my kuti. The mealtime has just finished. I'm washing some bits and bobs. My super efficient kapia has now put some Buddhist flags up, and some plants have arrived. Not for me to tend to, but my bowl is drying in the sun, as is the prescribed method for us bhikkhus. This is the carrying thing we take on Pindapat. And now, Gamina, the kapia, there is a little sort of Buddha, happy Buddha here, laughing Buddha. Hote they call this. He's actually a mythical Chinese monk renowned for generosity and similar to that of the sort of Father Christmas story or figurehead. Oh, I have a bucket now and a pail of water for this purpose, for feet washing when I come back from Alms Round. And these things just appear. It's very good to have a kapia. I'm going to this afternoon. The locals here have provided a Buddha rupa, only small, a little Buddha statue, and somewhere, if I can work out how to turn the camera around again, about here, so high up, Kapia Gamani. I just call him Kapia. He just calls me Sadhu. It's much easier. They call you Sadhu when you're a monk here, which is strange, but it's okay. So Kapia will drill some holes, put up the little stand thing, and put a Buddha rupa there. At the moment I just have this let me turn the camera around. Hope I'm not making you feel seasick. This mala I take everywhere and use as my Buddha rupa when I'm not staying for long. I have no plans as to how long I'll stay here, but I will definitely return whilst I'm in Sri Lanka. I mean, if not, make the most of it and stay quite a bit longer, because it is ideal for my purposes. And after all, what am I looking for? Nothing in particular, just somewhere to sit and practice. As you see, my robe's drying now. There's a fan also in here. You see, it's quite luxurious, really, isn't it? Not what you're expecting, or what I was expecting. Bus shelters, at best. However, given all this, I have an announcement to make. If you can just bear with me a second, I'll sit down. So I tried to be clever. Hello and welcome. I tried to be clever and begin the video with a little introduction, walk in here, pause the video, turn the camera around. You know, that stuff's not for me at all. I pushed the wrong button and ended it, so I'm now starting. I'll still put the video I made there, But where it says, and now I have an announcement to make, here comes the announcement in a separate video. Whether you put the two together, I'll try and remember to call them part 1 and part 2. I'll let you do the editing, put it that way. I can't be really getting into that kind of activity. So I'll take this opportunity, hopefully it's not too noisy, to answer a few more, discuss with you a few more of the comments that I've received. But continuing with what I was just saying, it seems I'm found myself very fortunately in a wonderful little place, a village, place between two small towns. I'm not sure which town I come under. About 70 kilometres from Colombo on the west coast. But it's beautiful beaches, very lovely little town. It's all very clean and organised. Everything you need is available, of course, to me. I can't buy things, I have no money. I'm very fortunate, however, I have a kapya. A kapya, Pali word, is a monk's assistant, someone who you trust and can look after any cash donations for you to buy things that are needed. We cannot say go and buy this, go and buy that. That's actually against our rules. The Vinaya specifically states that. But I can say, oh, I need some toothpaste. And he will go and buy toothpaste. If he says, do you want me to go and buy toothpaste? I have to say, I need some toothpaste. And if he continues to say, do you want me to buy toothpaste? I just have to go without toothpaste until he gets the idea. But he has very quickly got the idea, even though he's not used to dealing with monks who are perhaps quite so pedantic as I am. I am pedantic about the 227 Bhikkhu training rules because they are that, training rules. And as long as I'm a Bhikkhu in this lifetime, which hopefully will be until the day I die, as far as I'm concerned, I am in training, because until I've attained to enlightenment, I'm a Navaka Bhikkhu, a new Bhikkhu. I'm training. Officially, this is a 5-year official training thing. I'm a monk now for 3 years. I've been really living as a monk and in monasteries for 8 years. I've really, as a bhikkhu, only had 2 vasas, so I'm very Navaka, new. But I've had a lot of life experience in latter life around Theravada Buddhists in the Thai Forest tradition. So I'm quite a stickler for these guidelines because they help in a very practical way indeed, as I experience from day to day. I can't think of any particular examples right now. If one comes to me in a minute, I will mention it, and as they come along in the future, I will share them with you, because it shows you how these rules are not rules. They're guidelines to make your life easier. They're guidelines towards freedom. They're directions to freedom. Because if you think of rules as being constrictive, restrictive, enclosing, claustrophobic, stopping you doing what you want to do, then yes, rules are quite hard to deal with. We rebel, we push against them, we become protagonists, if that's the correct word. However, when we see the benefit of such rules, like a speed limit in a built-up area, if we have children, we see the advantage in that. Perhaps if we don't, we may think, well, why do I have to go slow? I'm in a hurry. There's an example of a rule that actually helps free us from worry and suffering if we know everyone is adhering, as most people do, to say a speed limit in a built-up area. But with the practicality of monastic life, a monk's life, a bhikkhu or a bhikkhuni's life, living in the wild, going from place to place, if we have that guidebook to fall back onto whenever we have a decision to make, and we make it based on those rules which have been established for so long, we rarely have a problem as a result of that decision. In fact, I've never had a problem as a result of a decision I've made if it's been based on either the Noble Eightfold Path, or if it's really something of quite fine detail, those Patimokkha rules that are in place for our help, assistance, as well as training and protection. So what was I saying? My announcement is that Kapia, he's coming back soon, maybe any minute, maybe this afternoon. He'll come when I want him to, but I ask him to get on about his normal day, tuk-tuking. That's what he's a tuk-tuk driver and has been for 30 years. Before that he was in the Sri Lankan army for 8 years. So he was a soldier for as long as I've been a monk, really. We were comparing the difference this morning, quite different. He speaks quite good English, but I think there's some guesswork going on there. Of course, I speak no Sinhalese, so Anumodana, and it's admirable that people speak our language, my language. I'm very fortunate in that sense as a travelling monk. Oh, I've just seen a monk going by, a bright orange monk in a tuk-tuk. He must be from one of these local temples. Now, when people say, are you at a temple? I say, no, I prefer to stay alone. Where are you staying? And I say, well, now it is a temple, because Kapia Gamani, he's coming back in a bit. He's going to put the Buddha Rupa up there, so it's high above me, so that I can, rather than you can't see my little Buddha Rupa in an amulet hanging off of the light fitting on a mala. That's a very beautiful Buddha Rupa in a very beautiful amulet given to me by my Kapia Upasaka in Thailand. One of the little extras we allow ourselves to be allowed, if that makes any sense, over and above our 8 requisites. A luxury item. But it's very beautiful, very auspicious. It contains relics of an Arahant monk, Thai master. I'm not sure which one or who. He did tell me, but I can't remember. He wasn't one I was familiar with, but it's got bones in there anyway. Or bone dust, I don't know. It rattles, you can hear the rattling bit of body. Dhatu, what we call relics. And they're a very important consideration, whether you believe the mythology behind them, the stories and the miracles attained by such individuals, and there are facts. These are facts, not miracles. These are known examples of Arahant monks when they are burnt, cremated, because this is in open fires, not in containers where you can't see what's going on. After the ashes are sifted through at the end, so there can be really no interference, because thousands of people are often standing around watching this whole process. There are gems, jewels, crystallizations come as a result of the burning of the bodily material and the bones. So it's like ashes to ashes, earth to earth, dust to dust principle of these bodies we consider ourselves after death are just returning to the earth element, soil, ashes. They come from the earth, they return to the earth. All the vegetables I gladly eat every day from these kind offerings that keep this body regenerating its cells and replacing itself every 7 years, which, bearing in mind I've now been eating alms food for 8 years, once a day, means I'm entirely provided by you, by upasakas, upasikas, by any lay people whom have given to monasteries or to monks directly, which food I have been eating over these last 8 years, even living alone in England through the lockdown I had in the 6 months of the COVID time. People gave me food. I didn't go buying food. I've worked on this basis for some time now, not only since I've been ordained, so I'm quite well practiced at the whole begging for my supper lifestyle. And I'm going to just ramble on because it's brought up a thought. I saw a beggar this morning as I was passing the bridge, and I've been passing him now the few days I've been going on Pindapat here, and wondering, well, what to do. Do I give him all my food on my way back? Obviously I don't have money, I can't give him money. Now there's 4, one on each side of the road, each end of the bridge. What am I to do? So I smile at them and I greet them they don't get up, they're sitting down. So there are some rules about this as well, what we can do when someone's sitting down and we're standing up. Well, that's not the problem here. But I was thinking, these poor guys, they need something. They have money on their plate. But I look at the money and I think that's actually quite a lot of money that they got to buy what they need today. And as I've seen them there every day, I assume that just sitting there all day, not going anywhere, doing anything, they get sufficient money to survive. Now, of course, they could be begging for their entire family also, I don't know. But just let's look at this whole principle of if everybody looks after themselves, not in a selfish way, but sets an example to others, then we'd all be okay, because there would be less greed in the world, less hatred, less confusion. Everything would be so much more simple. So I'm thinking, well, I could give them some food on the way back. But firstly, this is a big assumption, but from my experience, people begging and they have a plate full of money and they're begging for money really don't want you to go putting sandwiches and food, but maybe not to their taste, or even drinks, coffee. They have other ideas about what they're begging for. So I thought, well, I have to leave them to their livelihood as they are leaving me peacefully to mine, because they're not begging from me, they're not asking from me, I must say. They're not saying, oh, give. They ignore me and I just greet them and they greet me back. So they know I'm a monk and they know what I'm doing. But of course, in my nagging conscience at the back, oh, maybe I should give them some of this food on my way back. After all, there's plenty to go round. I have more than sufficient for myself. So I considered this and I thought, well, no, the thing is, if I do that, then I don't know, because this is halfway between my arm, through my arms round, I don't know quite in terms of the rules. It's actually not actually appropriate or possible to do so. But regardless of that, I don't think they want it. And after all they've got to do is sit there and they get the money to buy their food. Whereas I'm having to walk 3 or 4 kilometres in bare feet, which is quite painful, even though these roads are a little less rough than I'm used to. They're still hard roads as opposed to the nice soft dust of most of the villages in India have nice dusty roads. But these sort of more town roads can be quite vicious on the feet. I have to walk 3 or 4 kilometres to get the food, to come back and then eat it all in that one sitting, eat that one meal before noon, and do this each and every day. They've just got to sit there and they can get quite a bit of money from what I can see on their plate each and every day to go and spend how they like, on whatever they like, whenever they like. So I thought, well, I think they're okay. Maybe I'm just appeasing my conscience there, and you'll comment if I'm not. But people are looking after them. That's not what I was talking about anyway. What does happen is I get enough food probably to feed a whole family at least. If it was 4 or 5 monks here, we'd eat okay. 3 or 4 monks, we'd have enough. Not a great deal, we'd have enough. Some rice, some noodles, some vegetable things, some snacky sort of varying things, I don't know what the names are, and some fruit. It would be sufficient to feed, let's say, 3 monks. So what happens is I sit down, it's been offered, so nobody else can touch it other than monks. So I then take for my bowl what I need, put it all in my bowl, and then what's remaining, I have, the phone is on it, so I can't show you. Kapia went to this shop where I've been buying things like a layperson. I've been out shopping, would you believe? Not really, but things that are practical. So from slightly devotional points of view, one needs to present things properly, like when you're lighting incense and candles. Also, when you have some food, you don't put it on the floor. And you could put it on the mat, but if you then have spillage on the mat, then the mat's a problem with ants and such like and cleaning. So it's best to have a similar tray to this, but quite a bit larger, and very much larger, like this big. So I asked the Kapia to go and I said, I need this tray. And he said, oh, come on then, in the tuk-tuk, because he knew I couldn't describe it well. And I said, that's what I need, and he went and he bought it for me. That's the process we go through. With his little monk-coloured, they have monk-coloured envelopes here, that money can be put in for the Kapia to take care of. So he got this big tray that you're sitting on at the moment, and the extra food, which is seems quite a lot. I mean, there's like whole bunches of bananas, 3 or 4 big ripe mangoes, other fruits, dragon fruits I'm not sure what they are. I only need a couple of bananas, say half a mango, and a dragon fruit, very most, is sufficient for me. Today I had a satsuma, which kind of made me think of Christmas in England as a child, albeit it was more of it had pips in it, which I'm not so used to. Perhaps that's modern farming in Europe. Anyway, plenty for me, and there was plenty on this big tray. Still it's piled up like this. In fact, I had difficulty carrying it all back this morning. I'm going to have to take a slightly bigger yam. I have this yam for this purpose, which folds up into a neat little square. It's a waterproof yam. A yam is a monk's bag, just my simple cloth bag. I think you can see in the camera there. Behind that is a nylon-y, like an anorak material, waterproof one, which one puts your whole pindapart, sangati, it all goes in there, zips up at the bottom, or ties up at the bottom around the stand here, and you can carry that around even in the rain, and all of your bits don't get wet and mouldy so quickly. It's also very useful for carrying back food from a particularly productive pindapart, arms round. So I shall remember hopefully to take that tomorrow, because I was struggling on my way back. But Kapia caught up with me at the end of arms round, asking if I wanted a lift, and I explained, well, no, because I'm on pindapart still in my bare feet and on my way back. I mustn't miss out on anybody, because I go at the same time every day, and they're now getting used to me, so the same people are coming out offering, and more each day. So it's quite a big abundance of food appears on this tray, and then when I finished my meal, I still had some fruits left over untouched, other than by him offering them to me in the official way of, we have this cutting of the fruit, not preparing but just stabbing it, that I explained in the previous video. He had to do this so I could eat it. All of this food he's going to hopefully have some for himself, his breakfast and lunch, and take for his wife. Every day I've been giving the rest of the food to this house next door, but he did suggest that maybe that's rather a lot of food, so he's going to give it to some other poor people who don't have maybe some food today. So the kindness people are giving, generosity, dana, to me, is beneficial to them, because they are giving and they're benefiting from giving, and I am giving them the opportunity to give to me, and in turn, and this isn't necessarily the reason, that's sufficient. I'm content with having sufficient food to live for another day. You know, after 12 o'clock, and I have to keep explaining to Kapia, he says, why don't you keep this for tomorrow, keep that for tomorrow? He understands I can't eat afternoon. He says, but tomorrow morning when you wake up you can have this. We are not allowed to store food overnight. That is a strict rule. So no, it all has to be gone. So by storing food overnight, we're making ourselves self-sufficient. I'd have no need. In fact, if I stored the food overnight, I'd have no need to go on alms round tomorrow. Thus depriving those people of that opportunity to give again, to practice dana, to practice generosity. So this is the way it works. It's a rule, but it makes it work better, because it means more and more food comes each day. So this big tray that you're sitting on, piled up with food, is plenty for him and his wife, plenty for the house next door. Bear in mind, I've only been here a week, and only been staying in this location this is the 3rd day. I went on Pindapart the first day, second day, third. No, the second day. This must be the 4th day. I've lost count. It doesn't matter. I've only been in Sri Lanka for a week today. I was just about arriving, or on the plane at this time, getting on the plane this time last week. So in just this 1 week, we seem to have established our own monastery. When Kapia comes back in a minute and he puts the Buddha Rupa on the wall, on a special place, special plinth and stand, it will be a temple. And I will get to this announcement. I'm keeping you hanging on. What is the announcement? I hope you're not disappointed. But this big pile of food he then can take and distribute to all of these other people who may not have some food. And then even then, still I had in my bowl, I had some small but fish. And I don't eat fish. I don't eat meat, eggs, or really dairy products. So if I can help it. But we're not to be fussy, we're beggars, we eat what we're given. But there was this nice looking thing, roll vegetable thing, deep fried with some vegetables in it, but it also had some egg in it, so I left that in the bowl, I left the fish bit, and I just ate everything else in my bowl. I was still full up, and there was still plenty of rice and noodles left, and some fruit and things. So that, myself, I go and put in the wild piece of ground over the way. There's no rubbish around outside here at all, it's very clean, so I had to neatly find a nice little place where I could put it, where I know the little cats, there's some little cats with the cat family, kittens and such, go, and they can eat the fish, and maybe some other animals might come and eat the banana skins and the other bits of fruit and rice and noodles. But Kapia can take all of the rest of the food and give to that's all in its packages and untouched and fresh, made today, in time for people's lunch, because it's not even lunchtime yet now, and that was a long time ago. And here comes Kapia now, which is my cue to end this talk, which I didn't get round to talking about the questions and comments that you have made. He's now taking my rubbish away, which is very kind of him. I must ask him if there's a way where I should take that. I bag it all up neatly, but it's a very clean, tidy place, this, which I'm very happy to say. So the announcement is that once this has been established, we have this establishment of the Buddha. Hello Gamini, I'm just in the middle of a talking at the moment. I'll be with you in 5 minutes maximum. Okay, thank you, see you shortly. Once we've done the establishment of the Buddha Rupa, which is just a little bit of puja and some chanting, so that it's been put in place carefully, appropriately, and in the prescribed manner, then from tomorrow morning onwards at 6 a.m. Sri Lanka time, which is the same as India Standard Time, IST, each and every day I will be doing morning puja again. So I'm not going to do evening puja yet. 2 reasons. It's I don't think necessary to do it twice in one day. I'm not going to separate it into the 2 styles as they do in Thailand with the morning and the evening puja. I'll do a combination of the 2. I'm a little more flexible to be freestyle here, sometimes with some chanting sutras, sometimes in Pali, sometimes in English, but something for you to see live each and every day, with also blessings to you each and every day at 6 a.m. in the morning. So just to repeat, from now on, live on this channel at 6 a.m. Sri Lanka time, which is India Standard Time, IST, there will be puja, chanting and blessings for your happiness and well-being each and every day at 6 a.m. live. So hopefully you can please join me for that. I'll be very happy to welcome you here into what is going to be, or is becoming, our new temple in Sri Lanka. So I think with that in mind, and now that Kapia Gamini has arrived with his tools to physically put up our Buddha Rupa, and then I can formally establish it as is done in our practice. I will then have somewhere to welcome you tomorrow morning, which I think by the time you watch this video will be yesterday morning, and I'll try and make an announcement, however, today prior to that whole Doctor Who time confusing thing, and until next time, when I will continue and go through some of your questions and answers, which I'll look forward to, I will say thank you for watching. I hope there's something useful there. If there's not, just let it go. If there is, please use it and share it with your friends. Keep watching, subscribing, and I will look forward to talking to you again very soon. Okay. So this this blank space is soon to become a how would we say? It's going to become our temple. Yes.